Morning, everyone. How we doing? I really miss this. So the mic's back forever. I'm gonna have to try to do single hand stuff. I mean, I can do both at the same time because I've had to do this before. I've had to use single hand to do a bunch of stuff when I was working in coffee. So it'll be a little bit of a learning curve, but we're gonna get after it, guys. I was thinking a lot today about. Well, actually, it was over the weekend because I was playing some video games over the weekend. I was thinking a lot about like just the landscape of 2024, watching a little bit of videos, trying to get up to date with stuff, and I'm just gonna call it as I sees it. Like, I feel like Xbox in general is really feeling it, if we're being honest, especially with with their introduction of like the subscription service over the past few years. Subscriptions in general are really being put under scrutiny because of the silly stuff that like Ubisoft is doing. It really is starting to cause a lot of questions. So for me, I was like, okay, well, why did I leave the Xbox ecosystem? First and foremost, the only reason why I was using Xbox was primarily because I was using Game Pass. And then once I ditched Game Pass, I was like, this is no longer a thing I want to do because I don't own any games and I'm not able to use my Xbox. Then I got a Steam Deck and everything changed. One of the biggest things that changed was my interests in a lot of different games. Oh, by the way, if you want to pick up a Play mug, it's linked below. Every mug that you buy is a pound of ground beef for my family. So we love burgers. Also, side note, my wife made homemade focaccia bread, homemade pasta, homemade tomato sauce yesterday with this delicious, like fresh extra virgin olive oil from, I think it was Sicily. Dude, it was delicious and I could not get enough of it. So homemade food for the win. I was joking because finances are a little tight. So I'm like, yeah, we can't afford to buy pasta anymore. So we just make it. It was a joke. Pasta's like $1. If there's anything you can't afford to buy, it's pasta. But I don't ever want to buy pasta again because it's just flour, eggs, and oil, and it tastes so much better. And also, you don't feel as like weird because of all the different preservatives that they put in pasta nowadays. Anyway, that's a different conversation for a different time. I left the Xbox world. I was such a staunch Xbox evangelist, so to speak, and that was mainly because of the value proposition that Xbox really gave you back in 2021 and 2022. Really, you see, Xbox as a whole was like, hey, we see what's happening in the world. Nothing's affordable. I mean, nothing's changed as far as that's concerned, but stuff isn't affordable anymore, and you're not going to be able to get an Xbox Series X. So let's get you a Series S. Here's a service that allows you to play a bunch of games. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to commit to anything. Boom, boom, boom. You're good to go, right? And I thought that was the most magnificent thing ever. And still to date, for people who are casuals, I do still see it as being an incredible value. The problem therein lies is ownership. And that's really a conversation that we've been having for a while now. There's nothing new about the ownership thing. That's something that we're all talking about. We've been talking about. If it's something that you don't care about, that's totally fine. I'm not going to say that's wrong or anything because it's not. Me personally, it's something I tremendously care about. Ownership, also the tactile feel. I mean, just recently over the past week, my wife and I decided that we were removing our television, our nice big TV, from our living room. So our living area, right, where our kids hang out, where everything happens, has no TV in it. If we want to watch TV, which we did, I've been given a projector by BenQ, and there's going to be an incredibly awesome review about that projector coming out super soon in the next couple of weeks. The X500i. It's a cinema level 4K projector that is a short throw, so it fits in small rooms. It's incredible. And we set it up. We set up the couch, everything to face the projector screen. It was 120 inches of, you guessed it, the 1990 something flick Flintstones, featuring John Goodman, Rosie O'Donnell, Halle Berry. Who else was in it? Barney Rubble was Rick Moranis. It was such a fun time. And the reason why we watched that movie was because my daughter's like, I want to watch a movie tonight. And so we intentionally were like, okay, cool. Let's just set up the projector. Let's get everything going. Let's get comfortable and let's do it. And that idea of like, intentionality was pretty special. So That's a thing that I really, really like when it comes to making decisions about video games and stuff like that. And the subscription model doesn't really allow for that intentionality as much for me, right? I'm speaking for myself. Don't let me speak for you. I am not you. You are viewing a guy who's processing his video game journey, processing how to balance being a father, being a present husband, and all that kind of stuff, and also processing a man who is consuming so much caffeine that he can see sounds now. That's what you're viewing. I am not the speaker of the people. I'm not making your decision for you. Please do not think that I'm saying you have to do this. It's not what I'm saying. Really, I'm not. I am simply stating that I'm pretty dissatisfied with the direction that I see a lot of this stuff going. With the subscription services, with all these different changes to end user license agreements, all of this, it begs the question, like, how am I supposed to interact with media if media as a whole is trying to figure out how to sell itself to me as much as possible? Just recently, I purchased a Nintendo 64. On that Nintendo 64, I have a non-saving version because the battery is dead, but of Super Smash Brothers, the original. It's awesome. It's super cool. I get to play Super Smash Brothers on a Nintendo 64. Original hardware. It's fun. You turn the thing on and you play the game. Load times are almost immediate, which is really exciting. There's no internet connection. None at all. Not even an option for internet connection. If you want to play that game with anyone other than computers, you have to plug in more controllers and get your thing going. Now, I understand that's a very archaic way of going about things, and my best friend I met through video games, through playing Mario Kart, and he lives in Utah. Like, it is a completely different landscape of games. I'm not saying that online gaming is bad, not in the slightest. But what I am saying is that maybe, just maybe, this shift is potentially getting us to a situation where we can see it. There's no personal connection for sure, and the olden days of sitting on a couch, button mashing and thumbstick thrashing as this whole channel started have kind of gone away, which is heartbreaking for me, but it gets me to thinking more and more and more. Like, my shift from Xbox, which granted me access to games and to playing games with friends, out of that is because I felt like that service as a whole, that gaming experience as a whole, was actually removing itself from that very feel that I had originally, right? Which was, I'm getting after some fun games, button mashing, thumbstick thrashing, having a good time playing video games, which, I mean, let's bring that back, right? I feel like, honestly, where a lot of this flexibility in gaming, where a lot of this access to gaming is going, is what I mentioned before, the portable PC route. I mean, there are a lot of rumors about how Xbox is trying to get into the portable gaming market because they see it as a valuable thing. This are the rumors. I don't know if they're actually doing it, but it would make sense because Nintendo, proof of concept. Nintendo showed, hey, people like the hybrid situation. I know I personally love it. I've been playing my Nintendo Switch again. I have the Hori split pad compacts on there. They actually are pretty great for what I'm trying to do. And if you guys want a review about that, let me know in the comments. But what I've been doing is I've been playing Advanced Wars at night, a couple rounds, enjoying it while I'm sitting with my wife. She's reading or whatever it may be. It's been great, but that flexibility is really what has been the huge proponent in my excitement for video games moving forward. And I would say that the Xbox as a whole, when you first off connect it to a TV and it's just kind of in one fixed location, sure, the Xbox Series S, you can put a up-spec gaming monitor on it, and then it's portable wherever you want to go. Incredible combination. I highly recommend, if you have a Series S, getting yourself a portable monitor. But as it stands, like, when it comes to the Xbox console, it really has, I would argue, the least to offer out of all of the systems as a whole. We're seeing that the AAA space has been kind of declining over the past, months, and the landscape of AAA moving forward, it doesn't look any better than it did, just last year. Last year, we had an incredible year, and I believe it was a kind of a catch-up year because 2021 and 2022 were such a wash. 2023 was pretty much all of the releases that were supposed to happen in the years prior. New console comes out, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S. Nothing came out because of weird working conditions, kind of silly pretend world events, stuff like that. Like, it was pretty wild the way that everything went down and everything got put on hold. And then 2021 and 22 happened. more of that stuff keeps going through, and we're, saying different things when it comes to who's working where. And finally, 2023 is the release date. We had 2 years of just kind of weird, messy gaming. And it was because the world had decided to kind of test a theory. What can we get humans to do? And so as we got into 23, we saw a bunch of games come out, really exciting games, and it was rad. And we had arguably one of the best years in gaming. And now in 2024, we're like, well, where are all the games? To be honest, it's supposed to be 2025, maybe 2026 now when it comes to what happened over these past couple of years. We are so stunted by what has happened in the world. And so this year, we're seeing this real dry spell. The gaming companies kind of had to this is how I view it. They had to throw everything at the wall as much as they can because they had such a dodgy launch. PlayStation couldn't find one anywhere. Xbox couldn't find one anywhere. Games coming out, can't play them, can't purchase them, can't go out and get them, have to go online. And the list goes on. And so in that uncertainty, it bred this really, really interesting subscription-based, non-ownership digital thing, which Xbox was such a wonderful and still is a very wonderful way of going about it. Because at the end of the day, Xbox is a Microsoft company. Microsoft is a computer company. And PC gaming as a whole has been all digital for a very long time now. So for the very reason that the digital thing, not for the very reason, but digital as a whole makes sense going into that Xbox space. Xbox, it would not surprise me if Xbox, the console, basically ended up being just an entry level, somewhat neutered because it is a console, so the OS is weird, PC. That's essentially all it is. PlayStation is a very different beast in this space because, one, PlayStation as a whole has some pretty good console exclusives. They have been known to have better console exclusives, kind of objectively, than Xbox. Now, objectively, the games are better. God of War, Horizon Forbidden West and Zero Dawn, Final Fantasy 16, some of these really big, huge ones, right? Sure, Xbox has Halo, but we haven't had a really good Halo in years. So there it is. We have all of these AAA studios going to Xbox, but really what they're trying to do is pad their backlog for Game Pass and really push the Game Pass thing on it. But what happens if you're like, I don't care about Game Pass, I don't care about this all digital thing? The Xbox as a system ends up becoming less and less of a attractive offer, right? And you end up going, okay, well, what are my options? Well, honestly, for the console thing, I think if you're looking for a dedicated at-home console, realistically for me, a physical, so a disc drive PlayStation is rad. It's a media system, right? Sure, the Xbox Series X can do the same, but you have access to those AAA games I guess first-party games. I suppose they're AAA, right? Those are the games that are going to be pretty much crushing life. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, stuff like that, right? Ratchet & Clank, sure. A lot of these are also going to PC. So this is where the real console gaming comes into play. If you look at the handheld PC market as a console, which I kind of do, sure, the Legion Go is a little bit weird, and the Ally also is weird too, because they both have Windows 11 on them. But if you're looking at these as consoles, which I try to, this is the play. I have said it before, I'll say it again. The future that I see when it comes to true innovation and also when it comes to this real new gaming experience, one is flexible location gaming. FlexiLock is totally the future. But two, these portable devices. Because of optimization that can take place with the FSR and different stuff like that, which is super cool when it comes to low, you turn down the graphics and then you have it pretty much upscale for you on a smaller display. That way, you can't really see some of the jagged edges as much because the display is so small. Sure, if you're to dock it and put it on a TV like my LG C2, you're not going to have the best gaming experience. It's just a blown up version of what's going on, and you can see some of those jagged edges. Not the sexiest thing in the world. I would not recommend docking your portable PCs on something like a 4K OLED TV. Doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good. Now, if you have a 1440p high refresh rate gaming monitor that's 27 inches, you might have a better gaming experience. It might look better that way. I don't. I just have a 4K TV and a 4K mini LED vertical monitor. So I'm really like kind of screwed when it comes to my resolutions. I don't know why I decided to go 4K and all that stuff. But I mean, I do know why. Because I have an upscaler from a Nintendo Switch to push the image to 4K, which is in between the Nintendo Switch dock and the TV itself. There's a little HDMI thing in there. The M Classic, highly recommend. And I have a PlayStation 5. Also had a Series S at one point. So I honestly believe that the next iteration of gaming is this portable PC deliverable. I mean, we're seeing God of War come to, I mean, it's already there, but all these different games, Horizon Forbidden West, coming over to Steam, Ghost of Tsushima, coming over to Steam, all of these games coming over to Steam, and we're seeing this push into this PC place, which PlayStation is starting to get into. Xbox has already been there, right? We've already seen all these things. And sure, you can get Game Pass Ultimate. You can play PC Game Pass on your Legion Go Ally, and some people do it on their Steam Deck as well. But really, this big push, I believe, is going to bring games over to the PC space. Now, am I going to sit there and build out a gaming rig? I would love to, but as time has gone on, I've realized that I'm not in PC gaming right now, and the barrier of entry for me is a little bit higher than I want it to be. I'm not saying that PCs aren't happening forever for me, but I just simply am thinking like, I started with Xbox. I was so gung-ho Xbox, and then I'm so not anti-Xbox, but like, I don't own one, and I don't even care to have one. I don't care if they put out something that's gonna be like, yo, we'll do your taxes for you. It doesn't matter. Because the Xbox is so unbelievably redundant when it comes to video games right now in 2024, especially if you're a deck daddy. If you're a deck daddy, there is no reason at all to own an Xbox. Sure, some people are gonna be like, Game Pass, dude, I have access to all these games. That is absolutely correct. And I would challenge you to say, how many of those are you playing on a regular basis? Just, be honest, right? And if you're playing a ton, then yeah, it's extremely valuable. Someone's gonna be like, my backlog, it's huge. Great. If you go back and play your older games, you're a better gamer than I, because I have a backlog library, not backlog. I have a library that's very, very extensive. I don't go back and play those games as often because aside from retro titles, which is a very different kind of beast, I'm not interested in playing some of the games I purchased 3 years ago as much as I am in finishing Rebirth or playing more of Advanced Wars, right? Sure, older game, older title, whatever, but I'm just not interested in it. And so some people are like, I've had an Xbox for the past, since the original. I have so many games. The backwards compatibility is great. We have 360 games on here. Sweet. If that's how you game, sick. For me, the Xbox is unbelievably redundant in 2024. If I was to sit down and be like, okay, what's the best maximized gaming experience? I would say Steam Deck or portable PC, PlayStation 5, Nintendo. That covers your bases. If you really want to cover your bases, I would say Legion Go, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5 Disc Edition. That covers everything. Absolutely everything. And so that's kind of my thoughts on the Xbox thing. And now someone could have gone from like, this is it, Xbox is the king, to being like, Xbox is kind of the weakest player here in the gaming space, because really Xbox as a whole, the best thing they can do is master xCloud, make Game Pass a better service, and bring it to everything. That's the best thing they can do, because hardware-wise, there's just no reason to go out and get one right now. All right, guys. I'm going to go and edit this up, and as always, happy gaming.